Welcome to Heart Speak Podcast, episode 62, Transformational Times. I've decided to create 4 mini podcasts during this week to be in contact with what's going on in the world, of course, around the coronavirus, but also because it's quite a major new moon occurring on Tuesday, and I wanted to really make sure that you were on board with this. So I'm starting one day earlier than the dark moon days, which are the 3 days around the new moon, the day before, the day of, and the day after, so that you can really be listening to what needs to happen in these times. There's a lot of fear, a lot of confusion, and things are changing every day for all of us. So I'm not in any way going to say, don't worry, it's going to be fine. We don't know. Every day is different. And some of you have heard me say that these times were predicted. When I was doing work around 2012, so much talk occurred to say that these early 2020s, 2021, 2, 3, 4, were going to be challenging times. And there was this sense that this would really challenge humanity. Now, I don't want you to then think, oh my goodness, this is going to go on for 4 years, she's telling me. I don't know. I know, and I want you to become aware of, that we are entering a new world, a new way of being. Let's step back. That's important in this situation. Let's step back. Let's look at not, oh my goodness, what's happening in this moment for me, but I know that you are a mighty soul. You've been here before, that we are now looking at something that we came here at this time to be part of. You came here to be part of what's going on now. Are you ready for this journey? Yes, you say, I hope very much. So we're in this together, and I'm happy to be there with you. Now, if I just want to look at the simple things, and I haven't really planned this podcast except for knowing some of the features I want to make sure I put into it, but I haven't written it down. What do we know about the immune system? We know the immune system is heightened by taking good food, clean food, getting out in fresh air, watching the sun, taking vitamins A, B, C, E, or D, excuse me, not E, and using properties such as garlic, echinacea, elderflower, whatever it is that you and your grandmother's knee remember using. What would she be telling you? Honey and lemon, whatever it is, to enhance that immune system. At the same time, we have to understand that our immune system needs us to feel as if we're in control. And with so much happening, it can feel like, oh, I'm out of control, what shall I do? Find a way of getting back in control. That might just be planning the next 10 minutes, listening to this podcast. It may be making a decision to go and be with your family. The more we feel that we're helpless, the more our immune system feels it can't cope. So find a way of coming back to yourself. I know that's easier said than done, but you can't do much using just your mind. Our mind, if you look at it now, probably yours is a bit like mine, that there could be at this, when we get into some sort of confusion or crisis, we come up with so many things that may or may not happen. All you know is what's happening now. Be present. So when my mind gets busy, I put some music on, I dance, I sing, I get back in my body. Does that mean that things outside me are not happening? They're happening. But I am now back in my body and more able to make healthy decisions there. So please, worrying, thinking is not necessarily going to get you any further ahead. Laughter, smiling, exercise, especially exercise that moves your body, really good for you, especially or wherever you are in the world where we're practicing distancing, social distancing, personal distancing. But don't distance yourself from you. Come home. And then there's so many ways that we can contact our friends and family. Don't isolate yourself. We need those contacts. We need to see someone. Have some sort of method, whether it's FaceTime or Skype or Zoom, where you can see someone, smile at them, give them a happy little wave. Because that's what feeds our immune system. Our oxytocin, which helps our immune system, is enhanced by eye contact, sweet words, and touch. And maybe we're not being allowed to touch anybody, but if you've got pets, stroke your pets. We know that increases your oxytocin. No pets, stroke yourself. All these things will help. And be aware. I think when I hear people saying it's not going to happen to me, I don't know. And I love the fact where you say, well, it never happens to me. But be aware. Be kind to your body. Put your body in a place where you feel it can rejuvenate as best as it can without putting it into a stressful situation. Now, all that being said, I come back to the sense that this time was predicted. Does that make you feel any better? Maybe not. All I'm trying to say is this isn't something that happened out the blue. How it was going to come, maybe that was a surprise. But what it's doing to us is what's important for us to understand. And on these days, Saturn, this is actually on the 22nd, Saturn is going into Aquarius. Now, what does that mean? Saturn, yes, is the organizer, the orderly, the controller, but it's also going into Aquarius, and Aquarius is about the bigger mind, the higher picture, the bigger picture. So Saturn going into Aquarius is actually giving you a chance to focus, Saturn, on a bigger picture, to build foundations for a bigger time, rather than just being small-minded or concentrating on little details. And the times that it was in Saturn was in Aquarius before, depending on how old you are, you can look back and say, well, what happened when it happened like this before? The last date was February 91, and the date before that, excuse me, just going to check, was January 62, depends on how old you are. I could go back another 30 years before that, or 29 years. So depending how old you are, things changed in those times. And February 91 was just soon after, or you could say the fall of the Berlin Wall, the change of communism in 89. But by 91, there was a lot of revolution, a lot of new countries forming, a lot of new ways of being, apart from this centralized government that perhaps had been the Soviet Union. What am I saying? I'm saying this is a time where we're moving away from centralized governments to community care. That's what Aquarius is about. Aquarius is about social change, social ideas, idealism, and community. And what's kind of amusing, if one wants to see anything amusing in these times, is that Aquarians quite like being on their own. So social isolation is not a big deal to them. If you have any Aquarian energy, you'll say, I love having my own space. I love being on my own. Maybe these things at times are taking us to our extreme, but we do need that time. And my Aquarian moon says, I'm okay with that. I can go into social isolation. I like having my space. Because why do Aquarians like having that space? Is that I can tap in more fully to my truth, to my soul, to my heart. So spend time not going on the media, but really concentrating on what is my heart telling me? What's the bigger picture? Because all of you are amazing human beings who have contacts, you all have guides, you all have a connection to the source. What's your intuition telling you? What's your inspiration telling you? It's telling me that this is a major change. When I was working in the business of 2012, we talked about the end of time, the end of a 26,000 year world. And we talked about how this new world was being created at that time. And this new world is here, it's been birthed, but we're not necessarily fully inhabiting it. So over these next few days, because of this tremendous new moon that's around, I want you to be looking at what could be holding me back from stepping into a new world. And what I'm seeing happening because of not being able to go to work or having to stay in our homes, we are focusing more on what really matters to us. What do I want to concentrate on? What is important to me? And what can't or don't I want to do anymore? Now, along with what's coming up is part of what I have always seen appearing, which is that it was seen that artificial intelligence, and there's a podcast on that, was going to become more prominent from this time until forever. And that by 2050, okay, that's 30 years ago, a way to go, that probably 80% of people will be in different work or may not be working. And what I'm seeing is that that's happening. So that with this problem with people getting viruses, we are going to see more and more robots taking over jobs because robots don't get sick. Now, this is a consequence of such a problem. Obviously, I'd be delighted if people don't get sick, but artificial intelligence was always going to come in. It was always going to be part of our future. We just didn't know how it was going to happen. And what is happening is that this is now coming for full force. So I feel that whether you're looking to say, oh, I'm just going to go back to work afterwards, I think things are all going to change. And it's a good change. We've got to look at it as a good change. How do we live in a more Aquarian way? How do we love in a more Aquarian way? How do we live in a way in which we are more socially accountable, which is more Aquarian? And how do we value what it is to be human? Because that's the question, and I know I asked it way back in one of my earlier podcasts. If a robot could do my job, what can't it do? What is it that about me that is so special? And it isn't to get depressed, my friends. This is about saying a robot or a computer can't have compassion. And you might say, well, a robot can smile, but I hope you can feel my compassion, feel my heart. A robot cannot be inspirational. It can't be creative. It can't reach out in touch in the way we're talking about. Now, I don't want to go just down that journey, but I want you to be thinking about what is unique about me. This is a question I ask a lot of people, and they go, I don't know, well, I'm a very good mother. What makes you a good mother? Oh, I'm a good caretaker. What makes you unique as a caretaker? Please, please write down what are the 3 things that if you had to write a CV to God or Goddess, why would they employ you? What is special about you that nobody else can do? Because this new wave of Aquarian energy is about our uniqueness, about what is the one piece of jigsaw you said you would come and lay down on this planet. No comparison with anybody else. Your piece of jigsaw is unique. What is it you're bringing to the world that nobody else has? I'm not caring whether or not someone does it slightly like you. You're unique. Do it. This is an opportunity. And I think all of us at this time are being pushed into, well, you've been talking about doing this, do it. Yes? This is a time to do that thing that you've been talking about doing. This is a time. I speak to my friends and they're saying, well, this has given me an opportunity too. Sometimes it's just cleaning out a garage. Sometimes it's about writing a book. Sometimes it's about writing your memoirs. Sometimes about putting your pictures together. You just keep having pictures, but you've never actually seen them. This is a time for sorting out your life. And these next 3 days, and I will be putting a podcast out for each day, is about what am I letting go of, what needs to be sorted out, and what do I want to move forward into the new world. Are you ready? Good. So I'm not going to do a long podcast today. I wanted to start the process of saying, be ready to make your mark on this world now. No more procrastinating. No more saying I'll do it when. Lay down the foundations. February 91, when I look back at the beginning of February 91, this was a time for me really stepping out. I'd come out of a marriage, I'd written my first book, Frontiers of Health, and I really started my life around that time. I can't quite remember back to the 62, but I'm fairly sure that that was us moving from our old home into a new home, new mark on life. So please don't feel this is the end. This is about, I am making a commitment to myself, to my community, because this is it, to bring about a social change, not necessarily fighting everybody, but what is it you said you would come here to do? So would you just do a little meditation with me to finish this? So if you're in a place, and again, don't do this until you're in a safe place where you can close your eyes. And just to close your eyes, take a few breaths, short breath in, long breath out. Get your feet on the ground, that's really important. So if I didn't say that already, make sure your feet are on the ground. And you've done this exercise a little bit with me before, but we're going to do it slightly differently. Take your awareness to your feet. Feel that there are magnets on the soles of your feet, and there's a larger magnet in Mother Earth pulling you into her. And as she pulls you in, breathe down into your feet, all the thoughts, everything that's running around in your head, you don't need it. Breathe it down into the earth. Develop roots deep into Mother Earth. Let her soil surround your roots. Now, feel beneath your roots this beautiful golden energy of creation, new life. Your roots want to go deeper into this. It's almost as your roots are reaching down into this golden river of beautiful energy. And now draw it up. Draw that golden energy up through your roots. Renewing, regenerating. And then up along your legs. And suddenly you realize you actually don't have legs. You have a trunk of a tree. You are a tree, a mighty tree. And see that beautiful golden energy climb up in many ways through the trunk of your tree. And really feel your trunk moving, being flexible. Anywhere where you were stagnant, let that golden light flow through you. And then up and up and up, and see your branches going in all directions. Reaching high, reaching out, reaching far. There is no limit to you. So you have the golden light of the sun above you. So let that golden light of the sun come all the way down through your body to reach the golden river beneath your feet. And then breathe in the golden river again, up to the sun. Breathe out, down. And breathe in, up. till you're just a flow of golden energy. Feel that glowing wellness around you. And as you look around you, see there are trees of all types around you. And laugh, they're all shapes and sizes. And they're all unique. And they're all part of this greater forest of expanded consciousness we're stepping into. Expand with it now. I am not alone, and yet I am all oneness. I'm unique. I'm okay in my oneness, and I am part of a whole. I'm alone and all one at the same time. Knowing that to be true, feel your feet once again on the ground where you are, and gently bring your awareness back to the room where you are. And I'll speak to you tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Heart Speak podcast with Dr. Christine Page. Remember to check out other episodes in the podcast archive section on www.christinepage.com. And do share with friends, family, and colleagues. Join us next time for another edition of Heart Speak.